Hello, hello. We are live with Scrimzone here, and we are going to be going right directly into draft. Immediately, we are here with Metabusters versus Project Tuesdays today. This is the lower bracket final, so a precursor to our finals. But an exciting match nonetheless. And so far, it looks like that we have pretty much the stock, like standard, I believe, like coming out from both teams. Yeah, Stav's Twitch getting taken away, LSD Dreams getting targeted, his Anivia taken away, Smolder getting taken away. Some of the carries, generally like blind prios, overall getting banned away.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested. These two teams have played against each other twice already. I was curious to see whether or not they would kind of change their drafting strategy in the bans. It seems so far like they're keeping everything the same, as long as this last ban from Project Tuesdays is Renekton. That'd be keeping the same bans as the last time they played against each other. They're thinking about the ban for a pretty long time, and it is just going to be the Renekton.
Yeah, it's just gonna be the Renekton, as that has been what they've always been trying to take away from Corn. They also they've also been like targeting the Darius. So it's been like this like classic, I guess, just ban like Corn's like Darius and Renekton. But that has like given an opportunity to pick something strong, which they do. They pick a Yunara for Stav, is what I'm assuming. Um,
Yeah, I think the common strategy into Meta Busters has become ban the Twitch and then two of Horn's characters, Darius, Aatrox, Renekton. If you can get rid of two of those three and you keep them out the whole series, you'll ensure that he'll only get one of the other ones, and then Fearless will ban it away for the rest of the series. So you won't have to play against kind of, I would say those are Corn's top three. You'll be able to avoid them for most of the series. But yeah, they respond to the Yunara first pick with Nocturne. And let's see what they pair with it. They might just go with the Orianna here. They don't opt for the Orianna. They go for Caitlyn instead.
yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see what they're exactly going for here. I mean, not really opting into the Oriana combo is a choice. I'm wondering if that they're just picking Nocturne more so for Blind Spiral rather than for any particular combo.
Yeah, we've seen Nocturne be very successful even without the Orianna combo. And Caitlyn, as far as I'm aware, is one of the best responses into Yunara. So everything seems pretty stock standard to me. On PT, I'm thinking maybe you want to get your Caitlyn pairing on R3. Ensure there's a strong lane. Metabusters, I mean, very familiar looking draft. I feel like I've seen Yunara, Braum, Jarvan as kind of their core so many times. Um, it's yeah, very 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 familiar to me. Seeing Jacob on the Braum, Stav on the Yunara, Fujo on the Jarvan, and they go for Ori.
Yeah,
Classic pick for LSD Dreams here.
yeah. I'm not really surprised by any of the picks so far. This seems like kind of like what both sides like. I mean, like if you like told me like this is what like both sides like went for and like they're 1-3, like this just seems very almost expected, I guess. Uh, the only thing, well, actually, the most surprising thing is that I'm actually surprised that they're letting LSD Dreams have his Ari. Um, but I guess that they like feel like that they probably can like get something like they can probably get like a decent like matchup against it. Mid.
They're gonna ban out the Silas and then the Gwen for PT and Metabusters respectively.
Yeah, I
I
think
if I was Metabusters, I would maybe be thinking about trying to ban a Caitlyn pairing here. Maybe you think that there's too many open for it to be worthwhile, and you're just banning things to protect your top laner here. That makes perfect sense to me. But yeah, they get the Aatrox ban as well, so now Corn is, I would say, off the kind of best three. And I think Metabusters was the Vayne ban, I think, in part was to kind of protect that Aatrox. I know that's a really brutal matchup for Aatrox.
Yeah, it feels like that both teams like definitely just have like I guess like a strategy. I feel like the Metabusters also is trying to angle for Mordekaiser if they can. But I'm not quite sure how I like Mordekaiser here in this draft.
This
Um,
Alistar pick is a little interesting to me. I would expect something that's a little stronger in lane is better to poke under tower and get priority to pair with the Caitlyn. But we've seen before Caitlyn get paired with something that's just able to kind of protect it and as a response to the rest of the enemy's draft. And I think that's what Project Tuesdays is going for here. LeBlanc pick.
yeah, LeBlanc picked.
Have we seen a LeBlanc this season?
Uh, I, we, I think we definitely have. I'm not sure if we've seen this particular matchup, but yeah, we've seen. We definitely. I we definitely have like. I feel like there's been LeBlanc picked a couple times.
Have you played it?
I have played it, but I think that
Okay.
there's other people that have played it as well.
Yeah, I know you played. I just didn't know if you ended up picking up in one of the games. And they'll go with Zahin. Blind. I think that's a little bit risky, but I do know it is one of Korn's more comfortable characters.
Yeah,
Let's see how PT rounds out their comp. They go with the Shen.
yeah, they do end up going option. It's really interesting. I'm actually. Hmm, I actually feel like they should have gone for maybe it would have been hard to Zaheen, but maybe Swain. I feel like Swain would have actually not been bad for them.
Are you in
Uh,
the lobby, by the way?
I am.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Once all the
So
players are ready, we'll get underway. Yeah, I mean, I think the Zahin will probably not be able to threaten the Shin that much in lane. It should be relatively safe with the ability to block the autos. I'm not sure the interaction. Does that also stop the bar from getting filled up as well?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I'm thinking the Shin ult is going to be potentially valuable to counter the LeBlanc's kind of burst and the Jarvan trapping somebody. I will say though, I don't really know who Jarvan's trapping. Caitlyn and Ari can both escape the Jarvan pit, and I don't know, maybe you're using it on the Nocturne. That doesn't make too much sense to me. I think usually Nocturne is not going to be the target that you want to Jarvan ult, so
Yeah,
I
definitely
think
does.
the Jarvan is going to be a little bit hard in this game. Not characters you would typically see it picked into.
Yeah, it feels like a very weird Jarvan game. Um, I wonder if they could have like. I guess it's kind of weird. I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, it's like kind of like. I mean, I guess they just you wanted to like give like your mid like a counter because it would have been really weird if you had like jungle like drop like that. But at the same time, maybe you just pick like a different jungle champion.
Yeah, I am just very excited to see this LeBlanc game. I feel like it's not something I've been able to watch a lot recently. I think I probably just didn't watch most of the games that LeBlanc was picked, but really explosive, exciting character to look at. Very frustrating to play against. We'll see how LST is able to handle it. And let's just talk about this game, this series that we've come to. I mean, this is wildly exciting. I think this is probably the most played matchup this season. This is their third best of three that they're playing, PT and Metabusters. The first one, Metabusters won against PT. That was PT's only loss during the regular season. Round one of playoffs, they played against each other again. PT knocked them down to the lower bracket. PT knocked Metabusters down. And now they're in the lower bracket finals, competing for a spot at second place their place in the grand finals. Only one can make it through. Who are you predicting will win this series?
I said it before, I think last time, but I think it's gonna be Project Tuesdays. I think that they should have it this time. Um, I think that third time is a charm, and I think that they should have it. Uh, they like what it's been like technically they've lost like I mean like if you like really because like it's really they've really this is technically their third best of three series against each other. So
Yep.
I think that Project Tuesday should have it this time. Um, I think it really is going to depend on uh I think it's really going to depend on how well I think their top side plays though, particularly Blind Spiral and Dave. I th- the last series that they played, I felt like that there was a lot of things that just didn't go too correctly, and that kind of like let like a lot of like things in the game for like just kind of like spiral out of control, and they would just like almost like I don't know. It was like a far cry from how like the regular season was going, like where like it seemed like actually like they had like such like a clear like way of like team fighting, and then like during the playoffs like it got like just a lot more messy from like what I could see.
Yeah, I think especially that game one of that second PT MTB series in playoffs. PT, I think that was one of their worst looking games that they've played. If Metabusters can, or if PT can not look like that, I think they'll be in a great spot.
Yeah,
I will say though,
yeah.
my prediction, I think it's going to be super close. I lean towards Metabusters very slightly here. I think I'm going to go 2-1 Metabusters. Reason being that last time they played against each other, PT kind of had that rough looking game, and then I would have expected them to have, practiced, fixed that, gotten more consistent. But then their series immediately after that is what knocked them down to the lower bracket. And they didn't put out the performance that they've been known to put out this entire season. So I think they've had less time to practice and improve, or less opportunities rather. And now they're in the lower bracket. On the other side, Metabusters gets knocked down to the lower bracket sooner, but the kind of benefit of that is they get to play an extra series. So they got to play against Albert's Inferno and then Rift Sharks. And they ended up beating both of them. And I think both of those games were really valuable experiences for Metabusters. I think they improved a lot over those two series. So I think PT has maybe stagnated since they played last, and Metabusters have improved. So I think that Metabusters will this time edge them out in the best of three. And I sent out yesterday a poll as well in the season discussion chat. Thank you so much for everyone that responded. And Metabusters were very favored in that poll, more favored than I was expecting. I honestly thought your take, the PT leaning, would be the status quo. I thought that most people would be expecting PT to win, but it was nearly 3-1 favorites for Metabusters on the poll. Granted, not everyone from PT voted. Most of the votes in favor of PT actually weren't members of PT, so I think it will be very close. We'll see once these games start just how close they're going to be. I think, yeah, I just think Metabusters had more valuable practice recently, so I'm going to give them the edge.
Yeah. I can understand that as well. Uh, yeah, my only reasoning for giving PT the edge is I think that like at this point, um, well, I mean, I think that I think they're very capable of winning again. Um, and I don't know, like I just what I saw during the regular season was just so convincing to me. Like
True.
like when I was watching during the regular season, I was like just so convinced. Like I was on like the PT like train like before like almost like anyone like was. I was like this team is like actually good. And everyone was like, I was like, are you sure? Like even like when they had like, I think it was like they had like 2 or 3 wins. I was like, this team's like actually really good.
Yeah, I think most of the power rankings actually had them pretty low seeded, and they ended up taking the first seed. So they proved everyone wrong then. I talked to some members of PT since the poll. They say, hey, we're being doubted. That's exactly where we want to be, right? This is something they were used to. It's where they were at the start of the season where they showed that they were the best. So I think the people voting for Metabusters has not caused any wavering in Project Tuesdays. They're confident coming into this one. I think they're going to put on a show.
Yeah, I think they were gonna put on a show, and we are gonna be just relaxing for a few more moments.
Yeah, I'm
The game?
surprised the game
Yeah,
hasn't
we
started
haven't
yet.
started yet. They're just waiting on a few more people to get into lobby. When they do get here, hopefully we will start shortly.
What are the key players we're looking at in this series?
I mean, I think it really is just I actually think bot lanes are relatively evenly matched. Um, but I do think that the key players, especially for me this series, is going to be Future and probably Blind Spiral. Particularly
Okay.
the uh, I think that both these players I think Blind Spiral's had like I think both players had a great season overall.
I would agree completely.
Future so many games where he's just like played just really clean like jungle games. Um, like and it's not always like easy to like just switch positions and just play like at like a very like play at like a very similar level to like how you're playing like in one position to the other. But like he did it and like he's playing like a ton of like different champions. Like what like there's like J4, there's Kindred, there's what else? Oh, I'm like my like head's like blinking right now. Um, excuse me. I believe there is. Mine just went completely blank. Um, I
We've
believe
seen him on a
there's.
Mumu.
I've not. Well, that's the thing. I don't think I have actually seen a Fujon Amumu.
Spiral's a Mumu? Oh, Fujer.
Yeah, Fuji. I'm talking about Fuji's champion pool.
Sorry, I thought we were
Um,
talking about Spiral.
no, you're good. Uh, actually, Fuji did play. Yeah, Fuji played. Actually, he did play some Nocturne. He also played some Graves. Um, but I mean, case in point, playing like, a decent like he's like decent champion pool in the jungle. Plays all the champions relatively well. Um, he actually what I've noticed is like he actually has pretty like good like reactive pathing when he like plays jungle. So like he'll act like or like he'll be like very he's very reactive like when he paths. So like he actually does like do something when like he sees like like the enemy jungler, which is like a lot. Because there are a lot of times where people will just like you know like not really like will just sit around and just like let like the enemy jungler like just kind of like do whatever, but like Fujer like actually like does like adapt like how he exactly like plays the game like based off of like the information that he does have, which is like it's not easy to do, but like he does it, which is
Yeah.
like hats off to him for that. For Spiral, this like for Spiral, he's been like I guess like I don't know, he's not as nearly as like not nearly as much as like uh in the playoffs as in the regular season, but Spiral's generally I don't know, he's just been really solid on like all the champions that he's playing. I mean, normally it's been kind of like jungle support for like Project Tuesdays. Like Spiral like plays like pretty like well around like any like engage that Fatal finds, and or like any engages that Fatal finds, or like Fatal play around really well around any engages that Spiral finds himself. And they'll like normally both like play like a champion or like a go trigger. Like in this game like
Yeah,
we have
Fatal's
like
really known for the hook characters,
yeah
I would say. This game he's playing the Alistar, but
yeah. And so Spiral's just like I think just like does was like been doing a really good job at just like following up, like playing around his team, and also just being confident, like overall, just like about like his position, like not like too afraid to like fight someone in like the river, like not always just like backing up when you see them, which I think is like pretty important, like as a jungler, because you like at some point like you are just gonna have to like just hunker down and like fight like the enemy jungler, like sometimes like you do find them, because I think there's
mhm.
a lot of times where like some junglers will just they'll see the enemy jungler and then they'll just like basically just like run away because they just don't want to fight them, um, or like they're like scared of them, or maybe they're just getting order checked. I don't know. And so then after like what ends up happening is they're just conceding like both this like the scuttle crab, and they're just like, or there's like maybe like they'll get invaded and they'll be like, oh, they just invaded me, and then they'll maybe they'll try to counter invade instead of like maybe like trying to fight them off their camps, and because but like the enemy team's like prepared for their invade, so maybe like they get jumped when they try to invade, or punished like that way. There's a lot of different things. But like I mean both junglers, but like case in point, like both junglers play pretty well like overall to their strengths, which I think is very important when you are playing jungle, and their laners do benefit from it.
Yeah, speaking of the laners, one thing that we haven't touched on yet, but that's I think really crucial to mention is Tusini's out. Snow is in. They've made a substitution here on the side of Meta Busters. We've seen, I mean, how many series has Snow played in so far? I think all the ones I've casted, Tusini's been in. I know first game of the season they played against Snarkify Rebellion, and I'll be honest, they almost took us out in the very first game of the season. That was a very very close series, and they were playing Snow in that series. So I myself haven't played against Tusini on stage, so I'm not sure if this is a substitution because they think maybe he'll fare better into LSD Dreams, or the characters he offers will be better here, or whether or not there's a scheduling thing and Tusini's not available. What are you thinking about the substitution that they're making?
Um, uh, phew, I mean, uh, I, uh, I'm, I'm a bit kind of like split on it because like I am like always excited to see Snow play the game because I think Snow's like just a very exceptional player. But at the same time, like I think that this squad in particular, with Ticini has just looked really, really, really like just solid. And that's not to say that Snow like isn't like like can't look solid with them, but we just haven't like seen like as nearly like not like
This lineup is
yeah
less
yeah
practiced.
like as nearly as like close to like as much. Um, I mean it could all work out, which I am hoping it does. But I mean that does yet remain to be seen. And
He'll be going against LSD Dreams, the second team mid laner.
yeah, the second team mid laner,
Very potent player on both sides.
yeah, very potent.
I would say some of my worst looking games this season have been into Snow and LSD Dreams. So hats off to both of them. I also had that one game against Game Case. That went pretty hard for me.
All right. Um. Okay.
Who's looks like it's Fatal? Is it LSD? Who's missing from this lobby?
It's both. It's looks like Fate. We're just waiting on Fatal and LSD Dreams. Um. Hopefully they do get in shortly. We are all hoping for it so that we can start. So that we can get into game as soon as we can. Um. Well, I guess while we are waiting on them, I don't really have. There's not too much I guess really left to talk about regarding this draft, or I guess the players overall.
We can talk about maybe future drafts.
And we can talk about maybe
A
future
lot of key
drafts.
characters are getting removed from the pool here in this series. I'm going to pull up the last time they played against each other to see what they've done, as well as to talk about some kind of differences that have emerged in the draft already. So, compared to the last time they played, last time Project Tuesdays took the Jarvan on 4 into, they were same sides, same Yunara B1. They went for the Sivir on Project Tuesdays instead previously, so this Caitlyn pick is an adaptation to that last draft. And they went Tusini Zoe and then Braum. So this Yunara Braum is same as last time. We've seen this before. But kind of the surrounding characters are very different. And then the only character that's the same across the first game of the last series and this series for Project Tuesdays is the Ari. I think that's probably the character LSD Dreams is most comfortable slamming down picking when the Anivia's banned. Great blind pick, doesn't really have bad matchups, can survive any lane, and is really great at playing around, getting picks in the mid game. And ever since they gave the resets on the ult, really strong team fighting, I would say. Gnome is telling us to throw up some music and save her voice. I got a ton of water, my voice will last.
Yeah, I'm fine as well. Um, yeah, I guess for the most part, we are just
But
maxing
game
and
two,
relaxing.
last time, I guess one thing that I want to mention is the Aatrox was banned in the second rotation. We didn't see the Aatrox picked. Same thing happened game one last series. I'm fully expecting Metabusters to get their hands on the Aatrox next game. That's what I would expect. However, last time that they got the hands on the Aatrox, they ended up losing that game. So maybe Metabusters' read is they can't pick the early Aatrox. There's too many characters that are good into it. They can't cover it. Like if they can't pick it on blue side in the first cycle, or else they can't protect it with bans. If they do take red side, however, I can see that R3 Aatrox coming out, use bans to cover it. That'd be something that would make sense to me. So we'll maybe get to see Corn Aatrox next game. The real thing we should talk about is how Snow being in the team changes what they're picking. Because last time they opted for Zoe, don't think that's in Snow's wheelhouse. I'm actually not too sure which mid laners he plays the most of. When I played against him, he played Silas and then Varus. This time he's playing LeBlanc.
Yeah,
A lot of different options.
yeah, a lot of different options. I mean, there's also, I mean, yeah, Snow, he can play a bunch of different champions. Um, it would be interesting to see if like he does end up trying to play something like a Yone later. because that is in his wheelhouse, and that is a
I haven't seen that one in ages.
pretty nice blindable mid if you can pick it or have an
That actually
MTB.
used to be one I played a good bit. I haven't played it in a while though.
Yeah.
I would say when I think of Snow's champs, the two that I would say frighten me the most, or maybe less typical mid than top, but it's the Jace and the Gangplank. Those are two that make me shiver in my boots. Very frightening stuff. So I think maybe they try and pick it away in game one. Maybe they try and get their hands on it. The Gangplank, I mean. Save a ban. I think the Yunar priority makes sense to me. I think it's very, very potent ADC right now, one of the best. And picking it up for yourself and making sure it can't be picked the rest of the series is going to be very valuable. But I think if they're on blue side again, they can maybe opt to take the Gangplank for themselves. Gangplank mid, once again, not as traditional as, you know, Gangplank top, but it can still work. I know Patrick can make it work. And then if they're red side, I would like to see Corrin get his hands on one of those kind of 3 signature picks I was talking about. I guess the threat is if your red side is meta busters, what's to stop PT from picking up the Twitch?
Yeah,
Very interesting.
that is interesting.
Yeah, last time PT opted for red side when they lost game 1. I think blue side is actually really interesting for them as well. Because I think they're very able to. I would imagine Yug is able to play the Twitch. I don't know if it's something that he's very comfortable blinding in the same way that Stav is. There's not as much comfort there. But I can also see Dave potentially taking away like the Renekton. I think if you free up one of these bans by snatching it away and first pick blue side, that actually helps your draft pretty substantially. Because I really feel like against meta busters, there are 4 characters you really want banned in the Twitch, Darius, Aatrox, and Renekton.
I mean, one thing I'm curious about is I feel like I don't know. I feel like the GP ban was a bit much almost, especially when they banned Darius like so quickly. Like they banned like Darius second, and then like you had like GP. You hadn't banned GP yet, but you banned GP anyway. But I feel like if you were banning like GP, you would have banned it for the purpose of like in draft like that you wanted to get your hands on Darius.
Yeah, I mean, Gangplank in general doesn't have too many weak matchups as far as I'm aware. There are some characters that are just within the game very problematic. I think Zeri is the most notable one because of her ability to one-shot your barrels. But I think within the game, you're more worried about certain things than in the lane. So just denying that really strong pick for Dave makes sense to me. Dave's a very intimidating player. I was actually pretty surprised that everyone on PT got one of the kind of top 2 spots for each role except for Dave. And I really thought Dave would be earning one of those spots. One thing that's interesting about this series is kind of the either team that makes it to the finals has kind of a poetic journey and relationship with SR. If PT ends up winning, SR knocked them out most recently. It was the other team that was 7-1 during the regular season. So they kind of get their instant revenge match. They get knocked out, come right back up, classic lower bracket stuff. But Metabusters is the team that SR played first and SR is the team that MetaBusters played first, and they haven't played each other since. So you kind of have the short kind of we just lost to let's run it back kind of rivalry going on with PT. But if MetaBusters and SR are in the finals, it's the first and the last game of the season being the same teams, which I think is also very poetic and interesting.
Yeah, definitely pretty interesting. Um, okay. Okay, yeah, it looks like that. Okay, we will we will get started shortly. Um, or at least hopefully soon.
We're getting close to 50 minutes delay.
Yeah, almost there actually. Not quite.
Dave is saying you played it in his mind in PT1. Good for you, Dave. We'll see if your mind is able to replicate reality. Hopefully very soon.
Yeah, it's a shame that we couldn't cast the game that was in his mind.
Hey, Dave, if you could give us some in the chat, some play-by-play on what happened in that game, some exciting moments. We're now full on schizo posting, talking about fake games that didn't happen. "30-minute pause." I can think of a recent series that involved a pause at the start.
What would that be?
Perhaps the most recent series this season. A lot of people mentioning how fire they think PT's draft is. I personally have some issues with it. I think that Caitlyn Nocturne have in the mid game kind of lack of synergy. Caitlyn is really great at setting up and getting trajectories first and having people come into them. Meanwhile, I think the Nocturne is great at engaging, especially with there being other things to follow up. And the other kind of issue that I have with the draft is the Caitlyn Alistar lane, I think is just, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's going to be as dominant as I would hope a Caitlyn lane would be. Nocturne is fun though. I'm not saying the draft is bad. I have two small issues with it. Not the end of the world. But I just think you'd pick other ADCs to follow up on that. I think the classic thing happened where maybe this. I think if this Caitlyn pick was something else, I think this PT draft would look really nice and consistent. But I think the Caitlyn is just a little out of place for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see why they picked the
LSD is
Caitlyn. I
almost
mean,
home.
I feel like, well, I don't feel like the Caitlyn's too out of place because of where it was picked. It was picked like blind, or well, not blind, but like it was picked like
Yeah, it was for the
second.
ADC
Yeah,
response, but I think you picked the Nocturne already. If you're PT, you had the idea of this Ari pick. This Ari pick isn't something that appeared out of nowhere.
yeah.
Um, so I think there are ADCs that maybe would have fared better in that spot. I don't play ADC myself, so I'm not gonna list examples of what I would have picked, but I just whenever I see Caitlyn am thinking about slamming waves, poking under tower, setting up dives. I don't know if Alistar is able to help Caitlyn with that as much as these kind of common pairings you see the Lux, the Nico. And then on the side of Meta Busters, if I'm going to nitpick, I think the Zehen blind was just a bit ambitious and doesn't really. I think it's kind of already having a rough time into a lot of the characters that were picked. If I'm going to be honest, I would have liked to see something that gives your team more utility guaranteed and isn't kind of reliant on these really conditional fights that I don't think you're going to get into this PT lineup. And I also think Yunar just has so much damage. I would never feel pressured as a top laner to pick more damage if I have Yunar on my team. Change to dog walk Zehen here, I think. Says the Mason Jars. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the risk with Zehen blind.
It definitely is the
Corn, I
risk.
would advise against doing that. You got a series to play. I also just think if it was just the Shin for Zen to be worried about, I think it would have been fine. But I personally probably don't want to play Zen into Caitlyn. I think the traps are really constraining on where I can move. I think Alistar is able to force me to disengage in situations where I'm trying to build up my what's the bar under his thing called?
For Zahen?
Yeah, what's the like tertiary resource that he gets when
Uh, that's actually
he
a good
damages people?
question. Um, oh, you said no. What is it?
Horn says determination. Yeah, I just feel like it's gonna be hard to
Yes.
build up determination into Shin and Alistar together. I think it's gonna be. I think a great ult can kind of get you there, but I wonder will the Caitlyn trap being placed under the ult just instantly root you and make you spend your life? I'm really not sure. I don't think I've played. No, I played Zehen once, but I don't understand the character to a level where I'm fully aware of what it's good and bad into. We're doing this so Dean changes the time rules. Says Yug in the lobby chat. What are the time rules? I'm not familiar with the rulings.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not. I haven't read the rule book once.
Yeah. Hopefully. Okay. I was mistaken. Oh, I thought he got in the lobby. No, it's gonna be so much longer. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I guess you know what, at the end of the day, I guess they are going to be technically on time. However, they're going to be on time for their time and not our time. So it is what it is. Well, at the end of the day, it is okay. We will persevere, ladies and gentlemen. What is what is going on?
I'm wondering if they're from like
This is
is it Arizona that doesn't have daylight savings?
no. All the U.S. has daylight savings. Can't be the
No,
case.
Arizona doesn't.
What? That can't. Is that actually real?
Yeah,
Well, I
Arizona
mean,
doesn't have daylight
I
savings.
thought it was like maybe like they just have like a CST. Just like maybe they're just mistaken. Like they read it wrong. I mean that's happened to me. Like I've read it wrong before.
Viral says after LSU joins says what's taking so long? Completely hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Arizona doesn't have daylight savings, so they're oftentimes 2 hours behind EST, but currently they're 3 hours behind EST. So maybe that's going on.
maybe that is. I can't even
Maybe
speak.
parts of like
Brain's
Canada.
like fried now.
The Canadian?
Who knows? Maybe. Do we even have any Canadians in this server? Like, that's actually like the question of the day.
Okay, now we just need to wait for the spectator delay. We're getting very close to getting into game, y'all. Only an hour past when it's expected. Yeah, you had to do this last series too.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that fun?
It's always fun. You know this. You know what we really need
What's that?
in this call? Get Ray in here. That's what we really. That's what this call really needs. We need a Ray in this call right now. Get him in here.
Get Ray in here.
Yeah, get him in here.
If he's watching, he can join. I think he's been very busy recently, though. I don't think he'll be joining.
Oh, it's a very unfortunate scenario. It's quite all right. As we slowly but surely will inch forward our way into the game. Very exciting.
I'm curious to see the setups that people are running. I think that LeBlanc is a character that often goes TP, often goes Ignite. Ari's the same way. I think that Yunar is a character that we sometimes see the Ghost taken on. I think top lane is always something to look at with these summer spells ever since they made the change where top lane to get the free TP. Shin is a character who I think is very polarized on the Ignite versus TP, even before they gave everyone the free TP. The kind of risk is if you don't take TP and you ult somewhere, you're just kind of sacking your lane. If you take Ignite, though, you have a much stronger lane. And you don't need the TP to arrive to fights in the mid game. So a lot of different summoner spell setups can be taken. A lot of different rune setups.
Yeah, I am serious to see, or I am excuse me. I am curious to see what is being run, particularly for the top laners. I think it is just gonna be Grasp though, respectively, and Conqueror.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah.
You think Zehen is gonna go? I would imagine Zehen gives a combat sum. I feel like Ghost doesn't seem that great on him though.
No, I think that I
Maybe
think
I'm
that
wrong
is
about
just
that. But I also don't know if Ignite gives him kill threat.
I think
I'm not sure.
against Shen it's kind of weird. I think you actually kind of just need to have TP in this lane anyway.
Yeah, that might just be the case. That shield is enormous once it upgrades. I think we've not seen that shield really get full utilization much in these Scrim Zone games, but having a kind of beefy character show up with 30% max HP shield is really great at just deterring any sort of action from the enemy team. And it will be Ignite on the Zehen, TP on the Shen, TP on the LeBlanc, Ignite on the Ahri, and no Ghost on the Yunara.
Yeah, and
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
hold on 1 second. Listen out a bit. Okay.
Minions have spawned.
Both bot laners just get their ward off in the bush in the middle. Neither side is double ranged, so no dewarding occurs. Sometimes I know Shen's walk forward a little bit, they get their Q. They try to get it behind their opponent so that their first Q gets the pass-through bonus. That didn't happen this game. Not too much is going on to start the game. I think Snow didn't get the electrocute on the trade. feel like Ori would be a little bit lower.
About like the I remember what I was gonna say about like the TP in particular. Really nice trade runner from Snow. About like the TP in particular for top lane. We've seen like I've seen like a lot of like counter like top laner will just like not really like they'll like TP, but they won't like TP to like they won't even be low. They'll be like right next to the objective, but they'll just TP like a few feet away from themselves just to get the shield, and then like with like the team fight. So yeah, the shield definitely has like a lot of use.
Another trade coming from LeBlanc. Gets the chain.
Trade actually.
Yeah, LeBlanc is brutal to land against early on. Yeah, one thing I saw, like right when they implemented the change with the TP, I saw a clip going around of a pro game where I think it was a Scion just TP'd for the shield and just kind of walked at the opponents with the shield while the team was taking the objective and just deterred them because they just would not have been able to kill the...
Well, actually a flash actually burned on the top side. The Dread Return does connect, but Dave a bit too far.
Ignite for flash though, really good kind of exchange of summoner spells for the Zehen here.
Yeah.
Doug's ward spots out the oncoming gank from Fujer. Chain goes wide. We're gonna get some jungle action here in the bot river.
Action here. I'm not sure if Blind Spiral's been caught here. It doesn't look like that he isn't gonna get caught at all. Fujer trying to cross over for the crab. Both should meet up for it, but I don't think that is their crab to take. Yeah, Dave is just gonna move down.
I will say though,
there's
Ignite
actually the
advantage.
engaged. Actually, the flag and drag does connect along with the chain of corruption, but there's the flash over actually from Blind Spiral. Snow flashing away to keep himself safe. Or not flashing, destroying away, but there's actually the strong flash onto Fujer. He has no flash because he actually was the one who burned it, and he gets taken down. First blood going over to Project Tuesdays.
Wow, great movement from Dave. He is moving there right when he needs to, arrives at the situation. Yeah, as you said, Jarvan had to burn the flash to get over the wall to protect Snow from Spiral Splash. And then LSD is able to keep the charm off, lead into the taunt. Really great coordination coming there from Project Tuesdays to get that first blood.
Yeah, and I feel like that they really almost like didn't need to go for that. Like the way that like Corn's like lane had kind of ended up, like they already had kind of gotten the win by just getting one of the scuttle traps. Looks like that. Yeah, damage actually coming through from Snow. Spiral actually splashes notably. There's a flying dragon Fujer because he's arrived, and Spiral staying a bit too long and getting punished dearly for it, as a kill going right back over to Metabusters.
Yeah, trying to help Ori get that wave out.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite have the ability to get it out in time.
Mind the trap.
Maybe they just needed to sack a few minions, just deal enough damage to the wave for it to crash and then leave. Fujer's able to return to the mid lane.
The headbutt, and then double knockup as well. Really nice pulverize from Vader. And a really nice trade from the bot lane. Just continuing to stack.
This matchup looks like complete fucking shit. I actually cannot believe the trade I just saw.
Yeah, the Spirit's Refuge does tend to block a lot of the damage from the
That was wild. And then the massive shield coming in, just I don't know, grass bottle with the Q damage on Shin.
Yeah, both junglers
Just
actually
so potent.
in bot side now. And Fujer might be positioning for the dragon. It looks like that he might just be looking for a gank here, but Spiral's actually in the area. I'm not sure if they know. It looks like that they are probably playing for. There's the pulverize actually. It looks like that Stav is in a bit of trouble, has the barrier available still. They should be able to get the stun with the concussive blows, but Jacobs is in a bit of trouble here. Yug is continuing to click forward, and the damage does eventually come through from Blind Spiral's Q to take down Jacob. A really nice kill from him.
I was expecting the Shin ult to come on that engage from the Alistar to kind of chain CC, but no TP from the Shin, just decides that'd be giving up too much top lane.
Out of my way.
Both W's from Snow going a little wide. Great
Ooh.
Q from LSD Dreams. I'm surprised this lane is going the way of LSD Dreams at this point. I think that the first kill was majorly like very impactful for the lane ending up in this state, but those last two trades, LSD's playing
Ori
really,
investing the
really
Ori
well.
rush as well. I mean, there's the Grim's Deliverance, but I'm not sure it's going to really do that much already. He burned and exhausted so much already. There's LC Dreams actually going forward with the Spirit Rush over Deception actually to get the solo kill onto Snow. Doesn't have to even exhaust the Ignite. I mean, there you have it.
LSD's mastery of Aura is very frightening. I mean,
Yeah,
different strategies for banning out PT have emerged for different teams, and I think we're seeing why some teams opt to ban this Ahri from LSD.
Yeah, and I mean both lanes just look so like, I mean both like solo lanes. Like the early parts of the lanes for Metabusters look just so well already. I mean mid was like relatively like, you know, like winning in HP, and so was top as well. You know, Korn did end up like, you know, like trading like a flash for Ignite, but didn't really get like any capitalization off it like whatsoever. And Snow also wasn't really able to like get too much off of just taking the HP off the Ahri, and actually instead like Future like falling down, like giving first blood over, like was like kind of the reward instead, which is not really what you want to see.
Yeah, we see a little bit of an objective trade happening. The Grubs go the way of Metabusters. PG opts for the Dragon. I think there was a time I would favor early Grubs over first Dragon, but I think the game has just gotten to the point where I'll take first Dragon over early Grubs 9 times out of 10. I will say, probably pretty meaningful to get Grubs with Caitlyn. Probably is one of the characters that benefits heavily from it, but they clearly don't need it as they're up 2 plates already in the bot lane.
So I think they're trouble here actually. Here's the Paranoia, and the flash forward, I think, from Fatal. Yeah, trying to get the stun, doesn't quite get it though. Fatal actually is going to get changed, but he does have the Unbreakable Will. He does end up burning it. Future end up getting charmed up, ignited up. Spirit Rush is getting burned by LSD Dreams. He does have Spirit Rush available, and the reset should be coming up soon. And yes, he does flash forward to get more of those resets. They are fighting him. Transcendence does come through for Tuna, and she's trying to push out all the damage that he can. Both supports end up falling down in the fight. Tuna gets taken down by the Piltover Peacemaker as well, and Snow is the last member remaining of his team in the bot side. It is a 1-for-3 favoring Project Tuesdays. Not what you want to see at all.
Is what you want to see if you're a Project Tuesdays fan, though.
Yeah.
There's more trading. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Korn in a bit of trouble here. The Orient Rush. I don't think he's going to have the healing with the Grim Deliverance. Or I guess that is just going to get...
Ends up being just enough.
Yeah. They should back off as something it's time to manage the wave a tiny bit more.
I didn't think this top matchup would be good at all for Zehen. I thought this was going to be quite bad, but it's so much worse than I imagined. This seems just completely unplayable. Does have a noticeable CS lead though. So Korn is doing quite well, has the death, Shin's 2 assists, but 10 CS lead, about to get a little bit more. I'm impressed with the ability to develop and maintain a CS lead despite how bad every trade we've seen has looked.
Let's maintain that lead.
holding a freeze on the side of PT in this bot lane. Atypical for a Caitlyn lane, but I think because they have less of that poke threat under tower, they're setting up for this roam that you can see coming in from LSD and this Nocturne ult to try and get a kill. MetaBuster is very wary of it though. They're just backing off. They're not giving PT the chance to kill them.
Definitely a good idea to not give your enemy what they want.
Early Merc Treads from the LeBlanc, and usually you're buying the Merc Treads early into the LeBlanc because of that kill threat, because of how oppressive the laning is. The fact that LSD has kind of flipped the narrative
Right
here.
here, top side. It looks like that. A lot of damage going through onto Dave. He does end up bringing the flash. Grim the Lumin's actually going forward. The revive is available from the Cultivation of War, and yes, the resurrection is popped, and there is the Cataclysm burnt on top. But here has Snowy, and he has arrived, and it's going to be a double kill for him. He does end up falling down at the end of the day, but those are two big kills with a shutdown to boot. But LSD Dreams is in the wings, and now it looks like he can go forward if he wants to. Does have the Spirit Rush available, and yes, he does go forward at the end of the day. The Aureate Rush does try to end up getting the reset. Can he get it? The Charm does connect, and yes, he does. He's on a killing spree now in this game so far. 3-0 and 3 with a huge bounty to boot.
Great play from MetaBusters though. Really careful dive there. They get a great amount of damage. Brings the Nocturne in with the Zihin ult. And then Fudrik gets the great cage to buy enough time for Snow to come in with the double W on LeBlanc, bursting them both down. That's exactly what they need to do to get back into this game. Gold lead is still pretty big in favor of PT, but making a play like that is necessary.
Snow is able to complete the Ludens. I'm not a big fan of the Ludens here for LeBlanc, but it's definitely not the worst thing you can build. I have seen the Malignance LeBlanc. People like the build, and I would definitely recommend Ludens over that. Good damage.
You know my opinion on Ludens. I do think LeBlanc is one of the characters that has the best justification for it, but I do not like that Ludens item.
Well, I mean, it's more like, you know, you really like the component, one of the components. Yeah. And here's actually the Paranoia. Here's the Paranoia onto Yunara, and there she just transcend, but a lot of damage actually comes through on the spiral from the burst from the LeBlanc Mimic Distortion. But Future just ends up going down instead. The Unbreakable Will from the Alistar taking up so much damage, and Zahidin as well, trying to get his revive, but Sov in a lot of trouble, and yeah, I mean, Jacob being taken down, Korn falling as well, and everyone's trying to run for the hills. There's a Spirit Rush, the Flash forward from LSD Dreams, double kill over to him, and
huge play from PT. That was super well executed. The Chinook comes in, gives just enough HP to Yug to survive the. It was Yug, right?
Yeah,
He didn't have full HP.
Just a complete, like, just steamroll of a fight. I mean, everything was pretty much played.
Was it just Alistar heals that brought the Caitlyn back to full?
I just feel like I mean,
I'm now questioning if I saw that fight correctly.
no, well, no, because like they burned.
Well,
they burned all their. It was Spyro who like had all the damage burned onto him, but he just didn't.
Oh,
really,
it was Spiral. Okay.
Yeah,
I
Spyro had all the
wrong.
damage
Okay.
burned onto him, and then he Kayla wasn't even like almost touching.
Okay, that makes more sense to me. I thought they were jumping the ADC. But the combination of the Nocturne ult, forcing the flash, and then Fatal finds them all clumped, gets the great engage, zones them off while they're fighting the lower side of the fight. With the ult, absorbs their damage, and gets a great re-engage afterwards. Really well played from the side of PT. Especially to Fatal. I think that was Alistar Masterclass.
Definitely a masterclass, and a lot of damage. This Titanic Hydra has a lot of damage.
Oh my god.
Gordon doesn't have the Ignite available, but he does have a decent amount of damage. The Darkened Glaive helping him out. bit there, but Jacob might be caught out. There's a headbutt pulverized, charm on top, paranoia as well to make sure that he does fall down. And yeah, it looks like it's not safe in your own jungle, so you have to be a bit wary about that.
Yeah, clearing vision. I mean, there's just so many ways to buy time on the side of PT, and the Nocturne can just show up anywhere. The Shin can show up anywhere. The Caitlyn is the kind of person that's the most vulnerable, I guess. But even then, it's hard to go for the Caitlyn. I think picking these kind of two characters, the Shin, the Nocturne, with the basically global threat, the global presence, makes it very hard to make a play that you want to if you're on Meta Busters.
Yeah. This can get a bit more difficult. Looks like he might be looking for something on the top side. However, there's a head pulverize on the stop, and there's a lot of damage. He almost runs into the trap, nearly dodges the ace in the hole. It looks like that they were pursuing Spiral in the river, Fruger and Jacob respectively. They're looking for something here. They can't really find it. The Winter's Bite does connect, but Fruger can't really follow up. They don't see the Ahri anywhere, and so wise decision from them to not walk into the arms of LSD Dreams. It's tier 1.
Great dodge from Tuna there.
Yeah, about to fall down.
I will point out, my favorite item in the game, I actually don't know if it's my favorite. One of my favorite items in the game, purchased on the Ahri, Rocket Belt Ahri. This is a treat. Everyone's finally warmed up to this item, I think. I want to see a Rocket Belt charm. It's going to make me so happy.
You're able to snipe away the Scuttle Crab. So not all for naught. But he's going to have to do that a couple more times if he's going to want to get back into this game. And Snow finally able to get his hands on this control ward in the river here.
Is Snow building what I think he is?
Yeah, he might be also building a rocket belt.
I am so happy this game. Gotta see a Rocket Belt chain. This is game 1, Mitch. We had a bit of a delay due to daylight savings, leading to confusion in the starting time. Bramble Vest being completed for Dave. Hasn't upgraded the boots yet. I wonder if he's waiting to see whether or not opting for Mercs is worthwhile. Just for the tenacity. Shin's W is really effective at mitigating a lot of attack damage.
Bit
So
of
I think
fighting
still
your top
caps
side doesn't look very
a little less valuable.
very well favored. I mean, the Cultivation of War is proc for Corn, but I mean, just as quick as he gets it, he will just as quickly lose it.
200 CS on Yug. That is a sizable lead compared to everyone else in this game so far.
Why not matter? Because there's actually a ton of damage coming out from Snow. Really nice combo from him.
This is I think kind of a struggle that the team encounters though for Meta Busters is that was a great start from Snow getting the charm, but how can you follow up with the Alistar, with the Shin? It's too hard to do anything non-committal.
Yeah, and it looks
And I
like
think
that
if you commit there, you're in danger.
Dave is on a base, so he's just going to be looking at this fight with the Stand United. I mean, there's the TP, which will come in. It is going to be an upgraded TP, and it looks like the LSD Dream's doing so much damage. They just want to get Fuja out of this fight. LSD Dream's flashing forward, trying to get the kill, but the Unbreakable keeps him safe, and a kill. Oh, Snow can't quite get it onto LSD Dreams. Very close, but doesn't quite have the damage there. Just trying to find a way back in this game.
Cute.
And it looks like Shin is just going fully into Thornmail here.
Yeah.
I think that's what all these components are building towards.
Or,
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I don't think so. I don't think there's a chain vesting on the Thornmail. I believe it is just a Bramble and Giant Spell, if I remember correctly.
No. They changed the rest from like a year ago. It used to build out of those two.
Yeah, that's the knockup actually from Corn. There's a good delivering as well. He's just decided to go all in here. LC Dreams, though, ticking down with the Ignite Paranoia on top. And there's a TP coming in from Snow, but he might just be walking into his doom. He's looking around for LC Dreams. I'm not sure if this is really what you're going to do. He's actually going to get charmed, but he actually ends up getting the shutdown, a 1k shutdown actually. A fight breaking out in the mid lane, but it looks like that Stav and Jacob should be able to keep themselves alive. Looks like how Future and Snow might have just found Fatal, but maybe Fatal actually found them, as it looks like that they will end up engaging onto Snow. He ends up burning the flash to keep himself safe. The mirror image popping to keep him like well away from the danger, as it looks like that Jacob will end up investing his flash to keep himself away from the Caitlyn. But there's a re-engage coming out from Future, but in goes Snow and almost taken down by Yug. The Glacial Fissure gets burned out, but there's the Shadow Dash on top of them as Metabuster starts to run for the hills. Jacob able to leap away to safety. The distortion on top to Blind Spiral, but he ends up living. Future chasing for Blind Spiral's life, trying to get a Cataclysm on top, ends up shutting him down at the end. Kills still getting traded over, but critically, Metabuster's getting shutdowns that they really need to get into their pockets.
Really chaotic fight. I would expect a more chaotic fight to maybe lend itself towards Metabusters just conceptually, but it actually ends up being really heavy in favor of PT. I think that's just because the greatest beneficiary of a chaotic fight is this Zehen, and he wasn't present for this fight. Korn was the first kill of that chain of events. Notably though, the second one against LSD Dreams was a 1k shutdown, and LSD was waiting in the bush, thought maybe the charm would buy enough time and maybe lead to Snow getting caught, but the Merc Shreds giving the extra bit of tenacity, allowing him to fight back sooner, ended up costing LSD his life.
Brilliant.
And then I honestly don't even know fully what was going on in the fight after. So much stuff was happening. Everything felt very one at a time. First Snow flash, then Jacob flash like 5 seconds later. Then this guy went in, then that guy went in. Most disorganized play of the game, I would say, so far. But ends up working in favor of PT, so maybe all according to plan.
It's just all according to plan. Drake coming up in around a bit over a minute now. Looks like that both teams are going to slowly but surely start to position for it. TP is available for Corn, but he has decided that he wants to push this bot wave a bit instead.
Nearly has a rabbit on the Ahri. I also want to point out, Shin's opted for a really armor-heavy build. This LeBlanc is pretty good into the Shin in terms of output. Doesn't have to worry about the Shin W. I think you got to get some magic resist. The question is, do you opt for full Volcanic Rookrun and never take damage from LeBlanc again? Or are you going to opt for maybe a Jack Show and get some armor as well, get some hybrid resistances, and say that that's going to be enough to not be threatened by the LeBlanc?
Dave is hitting the top tier 2. I feel like if they look for a fight, they should look him now. And Snow actually getting caught by Fatal's combo critically, so Yug can get a lot of damage off. And Yug not really even that low. It looks like that Snow is going to have to look for some plants or something as he's put to critical health bar.
This is such an awkward spot for MTB.
Corn finally goes to go match the tier 2. I feel like he should have done that a bit sooner, because now they just get to start the Drake for free, and there's like not really that much pressure at all for the side of
Dave's gonna try and base here to spin before this fight.
Yeah,
doesn't look like he's gonna get to though.
Because Future just goes in way too soon and gets taken down super quickly. I mean, there's Paranoia, the Chem Soul is claimed inside of Project Tuesdays. It looks like that they are trying to fight it out, but Stav, I'm not sure if he can really do that much here. Coin's in the middle of them. The Resurrection is popped, but he's on top of a Caitlyn trap. Snow trying to distort away, trying to look for something, but it doesn't look like he can really find anything. The Charm Flash doesn't really connect onto anyone. However, it is a triple kill over to the side of LSD Dreams, and there's the Pulverize, ends up laying on the stop, but the Fatal's team is quite close enough to follow up on that, but it should just be the Baron next up to claim for the side of Project Tuesdays, as this has been a very open and shut procedure for them so far in this game.
Yeah, I was not expecting this strong a showing from either side. I really expected this game to be very tight, very close, but we did see in the last time these two teams played against each other a very unclose game 1 and a very close game 2 and 3. So maybe the pattern's repeating. I think PT made some really good adaptations to their draft strategy going into this third best of 3 against Metabusters, and I think Metabusters has kind of ran the same kind of style they've been running into PT. So kind of contrary to my prediction, I thought Metabusters got more games in the playoffs. They got more practice. I thought they would come into this third best of 3 more learned. But it seems like it's the other way around.
The Spirit Refuge actually blocking into a couple blows from now. Fatal actually going to end up bringing the Unbreakable Will, but a lot of damage. Paranoia on top, should be able to get the kill in the snow. Stall falls down as well. This fight isn't even close. I mean, Yug, killing spree for him. Jacob, not really going to live much longer. It's just going to be a simple ace. Triple kill over to Yug. Yeah, this complete just smack of the wallet. And it looks like Project Tuesdays is just going to steamroll. I
was saying you probably wanted some magic resist on the Shen. Shen's opting for a frozen heart.
Blue team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
But won't even get to complete it because the game's just gonna end right here.
And it's just gonna end. It is over, and so that should just be the end of the game. And yes, we do have another game to go, so buckle in for that one.
Don't say another. It could be another 2.
Another 2. Excuse me. You are correct.
Don't count Metabusters out.
We will. That is to be seen. I hope that we do see actually 2 games. It would be nice to see. Let me go ahead and get this, and let me just.
When is this game 2 draft? 7 minutes until this next draft, so we can still talk about that first game a lot and what kind of adaptations need to happen for both sides here. I think, well, I say adaptations. The drawback of Fearless is that really there are no adaptations that need to be made because everything that was picked in the last game is banned. However, you can still make some kind of decisions about the identities of teams that you're picking. I think with Shen, with Alistar out of the pool, Metabusters could try to go for a divey thing again, and maybe it works better, but they did lose their Jarvan pick, which I think is one of their premium picks for a dive-centered comp. They also have played I think they played Vi Ari, if I'm not mistaken, into Rift Sharks, but once again the Ari is gone. So I'd be really curious to see what these teams do. And Metabusters does opt for the red side. A lot of red side favor in these Scrim Zone games. I honestly think blue side is being underutilized. I think this B1 slot, you are able to take something just away from your opponent. You get to choose whatever character you think is the best in the game, and if your opponent plays it too, they can't play it for the rest of the series. So I think that alone is a very, very strong aspect. Granted, red side is very strong too. We saw great usage of the ultimate last pick from Project Tuesdays with the Shen pick, which really tied everything together for Project Tuesdays really well. And we'll see if Metabusters utilizes red side to the same efficacy as Project Tuesdays.
Yeah, it is interesting to see exactly how they adapt their draft in game two for the side of Metabusters. They still have like plenty of champions available for future. He has Sejuani, he has Kindred. Um, but I think at this point, I think for Corn it is a bit awkward. Because you know that like you kind of like you might be forced now for like Corn to like pick like a champion early, because you know that he's not going to be able to get he's not going to be able to get like Renekton what is it? Renekton. He might not get like two of the three of Renekton, Aatrox, or Darius, so you might just want to try to just like early pick like a top laner for him.
Yeah, I think red side would happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see like how Metabusters decides to ban though themselves, because maybe you do want to. I mean, I think you're probably gonna have to keep the Anivia banned. I'm not sure if you really want to keep Yug's Smolder banned. Maybe you just let it through and you just try to like play through it.
I think Smolder's one. I mean, at the very beginning of the season, we were seeing Smolder picked basically every game. I think he was 100% pick banned for the first half of the season, and it was even at the point that players, including myself, were kind of calling for a playoff ban on Smolder just because of how miserable it was seeing this priority on Smolder, seeing these games go late and Smolder just coming online. I think maybe one of the reasons Smolder was so dominant early on is teams were disorganized, teams were scattered, they weren't playing to the level that they are now, they weren't able to close out games in the same way that they are now, and Smolder really thrives in that disorganized style. So I think maybe you're right. Maybe the Smolder doesn't need to be kept around as your first rotation ban. Maybe you can open that up for something else. And I'd be curious what you slot in there though. I think a lot of the signature characters for PT have already been picked. So you're less worried, I would say. Like if I were to be in Metabuster's shoes and I dropped the Smolder Ben for something else, I would have been using it on probably the Ari since game one. And you can't ban it now. It's already out. They already used it. They already got their win with it. So I'm not sure what they would consider next in the hierarchy of denials.
Yeah, I'm like just like right now I'm just like kind of like thinking about like how like what exactly like they do slot it. I mean, I feel like at this like stage like maybe you just like, cause like you could like just opt into like making like one of the Project Tuesdays players like just like squeezing them. Um, but also at the same time, I feel like there are some picks that you really can't like let through. Like Anivia is definitely one of the picks. Um, I think for Corn's champions, GP probably is one of them as well. I think that is something to be worried about. But we
We'll
are
find out
getting
what
into
they ban
draft.
here.
Yeah,
We're getting into the draft right now.
we are getting into draft.
See if they change. I honestly don't think I'm expecting any changes. I think that's kind of the nature of Fearless is you kind of your first three bans are kind of locked in for the series.
Yeah, that
Because
is.
if you're saying those are the three scariest things,
Well,
when you ban them out
I don't
game one,
necessarily agree with that. I actually think the first three bans can change, depending on like what becomes available and what doesn't become available. I think that
I think
certain
for the
champ.
most part only so far in the sense that you can first pick one of the things that you're banning.
Yes, yes,
I think for the most part you're gonna be consistent about your bans.
yeah,
Because otherwise, if you think that, let's say this Anivia is the scariest thing, why would you ban it in game one only for it to be available in game two? Then you're letting them get the second scariest thing, the Ari, and the scariest thing. I think that's one of the pitfalls of Fearless.
Well, I think that like you kind of like you could like let it through because like you like have like a like different like side selection. So now like you can like opt into like taking it. So like you could like either like force them to like ban it from themselves, like force you from like taking something.
Yeah, I think Twitch would have been the character that
Yeah.
would have been that slot. Oh, looks like it might be. Okay, no, I thought it was gonna be the Renekton. I also mentioned in the
I'm
game
just
one draft.
confused by this like GP ban when they ban Renekton Darius. Like this just it feels so confusing to ban like Gangplank here. Like I think that you really shouldn't be banning like Gangplank right after they just banned those two champions.
I don't see the connection between the Gangplank ban and the Darius and Renekton ban myself.
Like I would understand like if you banned like Gangplank first and then they responded with that, but you banned it last.
I think Dave's Gangplank is very frightening. I do think that Snow could steal it away, but they opt not to.
And there's the Jin Zhao pick for Spiral, which is actually a contested pick, so it's another pick that Future won't have available for him. Jacob's gonna be on the Nami, which I believe actually I think that is one of Jacob's best champions.
Yeah, the Nami has been, if I remember correctly from last room, I think the Jacob Nami is the single most picked champion in all of Scrim Zone. Jungle. Or Fizz Jungle, maybe? I know Future plays Fizz Jungle.
Yeah.
It was just a tease. They opt for the Sejuani. That would have been, I think, a little bit too devilish of a cook for lower bracket finals.
Yeah. So that's gonna be Fatal's Nautilus, and he's been very proficient on the champion this season so far.
I think that was the character that Dean selected to be the kind of poster child for Fatal when you get the
Yeah.
second best support.
Yeah, they're gonna
They
go
go for Zaya.
yeah, Zaya. I really like that. I think Zaya is a really good pairing with Nautilus generally. It also prevents any like a weird like because like there actually is like a Yone Sejuani angle here, and that becomes like a lot more awkward with like a Zaya as well. I mean, it is already kind of awkward with a Nautilus, but now it becomes like kind of like you just really shouldn't pick the Yone now. Um, with his existing, so now like Metabusters will have to like probably like slightly change the draft like a bit more.
I think Sivir's a good pick here. I think Sivir's actually an ADC I'm just really huge on in general. I think Sivir provides a lot and is very self-reliant. I think maybe Nami is something that you don't need to pick a self-reliant character with, but there's gonna be a lot of movement speed on the side of Metabusters with this Sivir, with this Nami. And yeah, once again the Aatrox is gonna get banned. I'm kind of sad we're not getting to see Korn on one of the kind of top premium characters I would have liked to have seen. Syndra and Cassiopeia bans for Metabusters. What are they angling with those bans?
I guess just trying to take away more picks from LSD Dreams. I mean, okay, so they are just gonna angle for the Yone anyway. I'm not really a
Yone,
fan.
okay.
I'm not a fan of the Yone here. At this stage.
Yeah, with the Cassiopeia Syndra ban, I think that was a sign that something was up with their pick.
Yeah.
They were going for something pretty specific.
Yeah. Like.
And yeah, hey, you called the Yone in the
Yeah, I'm
like
not really a
15-minute
fan
void.
of the Yone like here though because you're playing into like such already a heavy like anti Yone like there's like the three champions Jin Zhao,
I
Nautilus,
wouldn't want to
and
play it in Desire personally.
like yeah like they're just not very like fun to play it in. Um
Oh, Vayne top.
Yeah, it is Vayne top. So preventing from like so that's I think that's and that's like to basically because they know
It's
he's
to
gonna
deny the
yeah
Mordekaiser.
deny Mordekaiser. So I
Good
mean
read from
maybe
PT.
maybe you could try to play. I mean, what do you even play? You could maybe play Gwen. Uh, actually, honestly, the pick actually is I think it'd be Rise. Sounds kind of crazy.
Akali versus Yone. I
Yeah,
get a big smile on my face.
yeah,
This is a very exciting matchup. Yasuo. That's not real.
Yasuo.
That's not real.
I'm not
Surely
sure
not.
about this. Um,
I
yeah,
think Aurora or something could maybe work.
I feel like you'd have to flex the Yone at this point in the game. Uh,
Yone can't play into the.
they're gonna
Oh
pick
man.
really? They're gonna pick Mordekaiser into Vayne? I'm not a fan of
Phew.
that. That is a really terrible matchup for Mordekaiser.
I think now. I mean, I got a favorite PT draft here. Again, I think the Sivir pick is going to be potent into this bot lane, denying the Nautilus engage. Nami can just kind of play behind you. You're really low risk lane. You should be able to emerge safely. But if you're doing this, you're emerging safely for some kind of payout. If you're picking Sivir, you're saying, I'm going to control myself in my lane, have a very expected outcome, and we're going to reap the rewards of my pick through other picks. And I think this is, I mean, maybe doomsday matchups for both solo lanes on the side of Meta Busters. I think this is going to be a game where you're just lacking in too many factors. I do think, though, Mordekaiser, really terrible lane into this Vayne. I mentioned it last time when they picked into Akali. Great, 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 great pick into Akali. I think I don't know if there's ever a world they swap lanes, but just for the game, the ability to ult the Akali
Yeah.
after the initial engage, deny that kind of play. You're in a favorable 1v1 matchup, and I think this Meta Busters team, if it was any ADC but Xayah, I think that I'd be confident in their ability to kind of quickly resolve a fight with this movement speed, with this Yone ult, with this Sejuani engage. But I think Xayah is just such a great pick here to protect yourself as an ADC. I mean, I'm leaning PT this game.
I'm leaning PT as well, but I will say about like the solo lanes for the side of Medbusters, this is a definitely survive the lane type of game. Um, I feel like that if they do end up like getting out of lane, I feel like that Medbusters actually does have a very good team fight. I think Mordekaiser is actually like good into like everyone on Project Tuesday's comps part of the Vayne. So it is really just they have to like try to get out of like they really just need to like try to like survive the lanes. However, that is like it's really really hard. I think that they do have three losing lanes, which is I mean I think many people have seen what happens when you do draft three losing lanes in the past. So it should be interesting to see what ends up occurring in this game particularly.
I don't think this bot lane is losing for Meta Busters.
Uh,
I don't know if it's necessarily winning, but I don't think this is a losing lane, bot lane, for Meta Busters. I think other two most certainly are losing. But I also think yeah, I also think that the Akali's pretty protected from a lot of ganks. I think that the Vayne is a vulnerability. I think Sejuani is a character that can maybe do stuff into Vayne. The Condemn is going to be really great to push back on the Sejuani Q. I wonder if you go Ghost on Mordekaiser here. This might be a Ghost Mordekaiser game. Probably a Ghost Vayne game. I want to see LSD Dreams take the Ignite. I honestly want to see this guy completely. I mean, I think this matchup is going to be very exciting to watch because of how Akali favored it is. I would expect Dismemberment starting at level 1. I don't think Yone should be allowed to touch a wave here without taking a beating.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, it's so Yone versus Akali is such a just hard lane for Akali. Um, it if Yone however is able to get out of the lane and able to like get towards like the like get the Bork, then like get to like the shield bow, um like the side laning like against Akali becomes like just a lot more bearable. Or even what I saw was actually I think Zeka did this. He ended up going Hex Drinker. He just rushed Hex Drinker immediately into Akali.
Yeah, Yasuo
Um
does that all the time. I think that's an adaptation that you might need to make as the Yone here.
yeah, just taking Hex Drinker immediately, and then like beginning like your like core item.
You might even have to go like Hex Drinker into Stride Breaker. I'm not sure. I think this. I know getting there is going to be a challenge as well, though. I mean, they had to have known about LSD's Akali. I would have, if I'm planning to pick the Yone on 4 there, I would have definitely banned out the Akali over either the Cassiopeia or the Syndra. I think Yone has better time into both of those champs than Akali. Maybe they didn't think about LSD's Akali. I'm not sure. Either way, we'll be getting into game here in a second. Probably Hex into Bork into Stride. Yeah, that could happen too. I am worried that you'll be so behind at that point. You might need to opt into the Stride first. But the ideal situation would definitely be you're able to go that Bork second without it being too greedy.
Okay.
Getting into game here, exhaust Mordekaiser. That seems wrong. I don't usually say that. That just seems incorrect. I think
Yeah, it is incorrect.
Vayne, a lot of the damage is going to be the true damage from the W.
Which doesn't get reduced.
The exhaust isn't helping against.
Yeah.
I also think you need to play to.
Minions have spawned.
I don't know. I think you need to play to make something happen instead of trying to stop things from happening. If you're the Mordekaiser, I think the Ghost getting kind of a productive gank with the Sejuani, you Ghost at the Vayne. Vayne has to condemn either you ghosting or the Sejuani queuing is something that I imagined needing to happen. And we are seeing the setup I wanted to see from Akali: D-Ring Ignite.
Ignite, pretty
It's
good.
the Electrocute trade.
Um,
The grasp on the Yone is interesting, and I think that will be very, very good for this matchup. Not something I usually see, but it should be more favorable than the usual lethal tempo that Yone's opt for.
like unfavorable. It looks like that Bertrand ends up just connecting onto a minion from Vaden, so not quite able to get a trade there that he would like. But we are already starting to see some of that pressure, especially in mid lane, with the potion already being burned.
How many bone platings were taken this game? I feel like I've seen like 5 pop already.
I feel like a lot have been taken. Damage coming in for the side of Dave. Corn just ended up proccing his passive. Obliterate doesn't quite connect, but a lot of damage actually coming through. The exhaust end up having to be used. in the top lane.
Can you actually check Akali's secondary runes? I don't think Akali opted for Scorch. Did Akali opt for Bone Plating as well?
Yes, or just
Second Wind Overgrowth, okay. I would have liked to have seen the Scorch and Nimbus Cloak fully opt into that. Pressure during the first couple levels. So far though, Snow's doing a great job surviving this lane.
swing it for the lane, doing all you can. Probably does have last stand, so it should be like not too terrible. Should be like almost HP for the anime.
Yeah, huge CS lead for the point in the game that it is for bot lane though. 23 to 15.
Some damage from that. Looks like that. There is the draft. Try to pull him back, but Born doesn't have flash, so yeah, he's just gonna be falling down. And there's first blood, as he had no summoners, and so he was just very swiftly and quickly taken down. And that should be a kill for Dave. Dave having been both his summoners. It looks like that LCGs might have been caught in the mid lane. Hoosier not trying to go for the stun. On the frost. Looks like that fatal does find the hook onto Jacob, but stop able to easily respond with damage of his own. And definitely not what
Early no magic for Snow. I think that's what you need to do here. Try to survive. And I think he's honestly out of the hardest part of this matchup. I think he's doing a great job surviving. I think in part into this grasp setup potentially. LSC opts to stay. This is kind of risky actually.
Yeah. Rene is closing in on 6, so it's a bit weaker here. And a lot of damage is coming through.
This is where kind of the... You would have liked to have seen the Ignite have gotten something in this matchup at this timing, because now you feel trapped. You don't have the TP. You feel like you're trapped in lane. And I'm actually worried. I think LSD is going to die here.
Yeah. LC is able to get 6, or Snow does. Everything is all okay. Cruiser is in the area actually, can't apply the passive. Fate Seal actually goes wide, and as LC Dream just simply flashes away from it. And I think that's
Having
all.
to burn the flash, and you're not in a better situation than you were on the last wave.
The QP doesn't quite connect, but the ulti is burnt. Now the perfect execution is available. LC Dream should be able to finish it off really quickly. The Ignite on top, and yes, there it is. Snow not able to really get away from that. Really nicely done from LC Dreams.
Excellent bait.
And it looks
I
like
mean, what a bait from LSD.
Are walking forward, but a double Aqua Prison actually onto the bot lane. The Boomerang does end up connecting. The heal gets burned out from Fatal. It looks like Howard Fuger is in the area. He has arrived. The Arctic Assault landing forward with the with the Sejuani W connecting, but there's the Dredge line. I'm not sure if Fatal really wanted that to connect, because he actually ends up getting taken down.
Here comes
Future. Connecting. Spiral is in the area though. Tuna able to flash away from it though. Able to get the kill on the Future. Spiral takes a turret shot at the end of the day. Maybe they can pursue him. Yogg ends up falling down to Tuna. A really nice spell shield from Stav to keep himself alive, and a lot of damage coming through. The heal still was available for Jacob. He ends up using it actually to save Stav, but not to save Future. So, I mean, there you have it. A really nice play from the bot lane of Metabusters to keep them alive in this game.
Yeah, game's looking much more even now after that play.
So, my favorite trouble here, I think this auto Q.
Just a little more. It wouldn't have been quite enough. I hate to say it. Were Scorch to have been taken, I think it would have just barely been enough. full Hex Drinker, now completed for Snow. And I mean, I don't honestly think this matchup seems too terrible for the Yone now. Still not good, but he's endured the worst of it. Did end up conceding a kill, but he'll be on his way. Something I would have liked to have seen Snow purchase, and honestly, even LSD is a refillable potion. That gives so much HP, 200 in the lane, but you can actually kind of use it to...
Actually, his execution to opt in. The Fate Seal's actually going to be end up traded away.
LSD could have used the Shuriken flip and timed it in a way where you intentionally get hit by the Fate Sealed in order to guarantee you get the Shuriken to connect.
Just can do a lot of trading. I mean, another Shuriken flip. The Soul Unbound is there. The Q3 from Snow has to end up having to flash away. Scared of the Assassin Mark Auto plus another 5-point strike.
This mid lane matchup has been really entertaining to watch so far. We are seeing CS lead in the bot lane has neutralized after that bot lane play that ended in favor of Metabusters. However, top lane, the CS lead is growing for Dave.
It's quite the oppressive lane already for Korn here in the top lane.
I expect Korn to be harassed pretty heavily if going for some range creeps, but Dave decides to back off. I'm actually kind of surprised. They should know that they're on Dragon. And he's shopping for a roam. Dave does this so often, and it works out so well.
Now, instead of trying to fight LC and there's the Q3 actually really nicely done. The Permafrost ends up connecting, and a Glacial Pressure actually over on top, but Dave is in the area. The final hour is available. Snow can't really get away from this, and there's more tumbles to end up sealing their fate. The Tidal Wave end up getting burned, by the way, from Jacob defensively, as they do end up running away from that. As it looks really good in the beginning, but didn't end up that well in the end.
Man, Dave, I feel like is really consistently able to find these roams where you get the big crash. In my head, I'm like, okay, you're playing a ranged top laner. You're just gonna get some poke under the tower. He just says, no, I'm gonna go mid. I'm expecting something to start. Probably communicates for LSD to start that fight. He's picking up a kill for himself.
More heavy trading plan here in lane. LC Dreams does have the perfect execution available. Fate Sealed ends up getting dodged away from. But there's the second part of the perfect execution. But LC Dreams might just walk into his death. The flash is coming up for him soon. Maybe he can get a kill back, but no. The Mortal Steel lands right onto his forehead from Snow. There's a kill going over to him. However, multiple members in the area, so give credit to Jacob and Fuja as well.
Yeah, this time it's a great bait from Snow. Leads to him picking up a kill for himself. And honestly, at this point, the Akali lane, I think it's maybe even hard for the Akali. Akali needs to get like a couple successful trades for things to go well. And now the Yone has too much EHP for Akali to just go all in. Now the Yone is the one that wins the all-ins, and Akali wins the trades instead of just being completely dominated. Because of this extra HP granted by the extra.
More awkward. Really nice poke actually coming out on the side of the bot lane. This hook actually on to Jacob. Tsunami off of prison is available, but just goes down. I mean, there's a lot of damage. The Glacial Pressure is being burned, but there's Featherstorm as well. Tuna in a bit of trouble, but Spell Shield is available. And it looks like that they end up burning the On the Hunt. Tuna running away from Fatal. It looks like that he should be able to keep himself alive with the blade. As the barrier ends up, he actually was just saving, holding on to it. Really nice bait from the side of Stav. As excuse me, I just keep calling him Tuna just because I just want to say the name. But yes, really nice bait from Stav, as he does end up investing both his summoners, but the enemy bot lane does end up falling down.
This bot lane is the saving grace right now for Metabusters. They've gotten... Can you show the gold difference here? For the bot lane. 600.
But ooh, a lot of damage actually coming through.
Snow actually has a
looking
sizable
for something
gold lead
here.
mid as
It
well.
looks like, yeah, Blind Spiral they're fighting onto him. Crimson Guard actually coming. Blind Spiral is now available. Big Shield on top, and yeah, there's just a kill for Snow. As it looks like that Blind Spiral and LC
That's even more of a lead for the Yone in this matchup.
Trying to
3
take a
plates to
fight.
1, 2 kills to 1. Snow is just completely emerged from this lane in a favorable position.
Also, looks like that Corn actually was able to get himself some really nice plates there. I mean, Dave has been kind of like moving away from his lane, but every single time he's moved away from his lane, Corn's been able to get a really nice push in, and Dave really hasn't gotten like, I mean, Dave did get that really nice initial kill off of one of his rooms, but other than that, he really hasn't gotten too much else. Goes a bit wide, so he's land on the stop.
Zhou now has the Sundered Sky. I know this is a really meaningful spike for this character.
Doesn't quite land the Obliterate, doesn't quite land, all the exhaust is available still. And there, finally, the passive is burned. Looks like Fuja within the area, however, with the Glacial Prison on top. Dave can't really outplay that. I mean, maybe he could flash it, but it was just thrown at point-blank range. Really hard to react to. And really well done to get that kill off the enemy top laner. That charge actually going to be invested. Looks like that's actually just a fight breaking out here on the top side, but Realm of Death is going to lie for now. The Thunder Storm is going to get burned, and that's actually a huge shutdown onto the ADC, and LC Dreams actually ends up winning the 1v1 on the top side.
Give us a replay. We get to see how that happens.
Yeah, I am. I got that going.
And Moore just has no magic resist yet. Another 15 should do it. Moore opens with the ult. Kali just sits in the shroud patiently.
Nice kill.
Wow, doesn't need the R2. That's shocking to me.
Let's go back to what's happening here live. Looks like that. They are onto the break. It looks like the Dragon However, he's just going to be slain. And it looks like that Fuja is just on the yoke, just takes him down in the end. And meanwhile, it looks like that Snow is on the Fatal as well, so he's just going to be falling down. And man, there was just a really nice couple like pick onto the bot lane, onto the Sivir, but things just go from bad to worse as it looks like at the end of the day, Dragon is claimed from the side of Project Tuesdays, but they end up getting over 2 kills still.
Yeah, I think couldn't see exactly how everything started, but Zai ends up finding herself in a position. Yog's not in exactly the spot you want to be if you're playing Azaya. Sejuani is able to just kind of wallop on her with the Sunfire. No peel around to help. A nice kill, and then
might be breaking
Snow just finds Fatal.
Quite fine, 2-3, but he's getting really good damage from the Yone. Able to heal a lot as well with the lifesteal, so now...
Yeah, this is ghastly, I would say. Look at how much Yone heals every auto.
Galaxy Dreams are starting to realize that this matchup is not quite as promised to them. The fake seal goes a bit wide, but Snow just decides that he's going to invest into something else, as it looks like Alchemist does end up landing on the spiral, so Jacob should be able to keep himself alive for now. You know, the skirmishing bot side hasn't quite netted anything quite yet. Down. A lot of good damage coming out for Snow. Doesn't quite get the Q3 though. Really good damage coming out from LC Dreams to dissuade any more future attempts from Snow to dive him under his turret.
No, I mean, Snow can just heal up off this wave. Opts not to. Base TPs. That's a little strange to me. Unless she's just able to pick up the wave and leave.
Oh, I really would like to see them actually pull the Nautilus and Jinzhou there, actually, for a play on the Yone, but I think they're not going to go for it.
Yeah, I will say, I think it's pretty high risk, but there's not many characters you can look for. The Sivir is really protected. You kind of gotta look the Mordekaiser or the Yone, and both are really effective at buying time.
So the Spiral finally in the area. Kuja is trying to run there, and it looks like the LSP, yes, is going to opt in the Turkish, but there is the perfect execution available, and there it is. I mean, really nicely done from LSP Dreams to kill Spiral, also playing it well to help his mid laner out with that kill. I mean, there is the permafrost, and oh no, actually, the Dredge line actually pulls away the Sejuani W, so it doesn't quite connect onto LSD Dreams. Critical Dredge line, really well done from Fatal actually. Able to prevent the Winter's Wrath from connecting onto LSD Dreams there, which saves them a kill.
Yeah, I think both. I mean, honestly, my kind of read on that play is PT didn't know the Sejuani was behind, but MetaBusters thought that they would win the 2v2, and I think that kind of misread, they didn't end up winning the 2v2. Really great movement from LSD, dodging out some spells, and of course Fatal comes in at the end to protect LSD from the Sejuani.
Nicely done from him. Looks like that another fight is breaking out bot side. We're trying to go for something here, but looks like the final hour is just gonna get burned. I mean, there's Lynx of Lightning, huge damage proc. I mean, from the Audacious Charge, plus like, you know, the Silver Bolt's third auto with a Tumble auto, I believe. So yeah, I mean, there's a damage. Corn just gets blown up. Falls down. Turret does get collected in the bot side, but turret in the top side is soon to be collected inside of Project Tuesdays. They are on the Rift Herald as well, so that is shortly to be claimed by them as well. And yeah, Project Tuesdays, you know, things looking dire in this game, but they're managing to claw themselves back in a very convincing way.
Three people hiding behind this Yone. Jacob showing on the Nami, but oh.
Damage trying to find your colleague. Quiet, but here is Dave actually, and you really don't want to be trying to fight this the Vayne as Sejuani. And it looks like he is trying to do what he can, but this Vayne still is untouched. I mean, the tidal wave finally gets burned. And a really actually nice bubble from the side of Jacob, ending up having to have Dave gonna have to burn flash. LT Dream's perfect execution is available. Doesn't quite kill and actually gets taken down. A really nice Aqua Prison from the side of Jacob again with a double one. It looks like that Corn actually getting multiple kills in this fight as well. A double kill for the side of Stav and Blind Spiral. All alone, cornered away. No flash available for him, and he's going to get taken down shortly as well. Ace for the side of MetaBusters as they have roared to life in this game once again.
So many people on MetaBusters living with 1 HP there. I mean, so many things. I'm seeing now that LSD has Ignite up. I wonder if that came up afterwards or if that was available the whole time. But
yeah, I mean, you see those bubbles? Those bubbles were crazy. Jacob hit like a double bubble, and then I think like he hit like I think he hit like 2 double bubbles in that fight. It was like insane. He hit like one like initially at the very start, and at like the very end, like he hit. Like,
well, yeah, at the start there was the.
Yeah.
Dave went forward with the Vayne, was in stealth, but the Sejuani ult finds it, then the Nami wave, then the Nami bubble, so a triple kind of CC chain onto the Vayne. Really impactful for the start of that fight.
But it looks like that the final hour is available again. It looks like that Corn is just going to have to try to opt in this fight all he can, but I'm not sure if he can really do anything at all. I mean, he can't even see his opponent, and Dave taking down Corn in the 1v1 side lane. As it's a really nice kill from him.
No team's turret has been destroyed.
And yeah, there is some punishment this game.
LSG opts for the Rocket Belt on Akali. This is actually one of the few characters I don't think I'd be building this item on. I think this was the item I opted for before they re-added Hexagon Blade to the game. But unfortunately, the 20 haste is a pretty dead stat on Akali. the bottleneck in fights is generally not your haste. It's generally your energy. Your Q has a very short cooldown but high energy costs. And the way your W cooldown is, you're really not going to get a second rotation of that. The way your E is, you kind of need like these situations to come together for a good E to be available. So getting more haste on it doesn't necessarily make the situations come up more often. So ult haste is the only real haste that matters on Akali. And you know, a thousand of the gold of Rocket Belt stats are on that ability haste. It's not a bad option. I just would not have opted for it in this game where I think you need more fighting power than gap flows as the Akali in this game.
Definitely.
I think with the early Hex Tech, or not Hex Tech, Hex Drinker, maybe you can just opt for a Zanya's, a Void Staff. I think Zanya's is another good option here. People really undervalue percent pin, I think, on mages. People don't realize how high base resistances are. If somebody's buying even just 20 magic resist, percent pin items just become more valuable than flat pin items for mages. Baron is up. Next Drake's in a minute and a half. I don't think either side feels stronger. Baron
Fatal. I'm sure if they want to take this fight, and the Dragon actually critically doesn't interrupt actually what the Yoni's trying to do. But there is Snow, and he actually just could root up the Fate Shield. Actually doesn't even connect on anyone. Really nice bubble from the side of Jacob, but it's all for naught at the end of the day. These kills just aren't it. I mean, at the end of the day, Dave does get taken down, but Project Tuesday is coming up huge in this at that fight. I mean, 4 kills to 1.
Did you actually give a replay? I was so focused on the Vayne Mordekaiser side of the fight, I missed what happened for the other side of the fight.
Snow just got like CC'd up. Future really couldn't do anything at all.
Just fighting into Isaiah. I think that's part of the issue. I think LSD only got there at the tail end of the fight, but things really went their way. Really great kind of strong core. I mean, I think that's just what PT does best, is they're really good at picking like a really strong first core here. Just the ADC jungle support here, which was their first 3 picks, just working to great effect. I also think the Vayne Akali like 4-5 gambit was great as well. Anything that's going to do well into the Akali is going to do poorly into the Vayne. So you've kind of set up the situation where you have the counter pick on the Yone, and anything that's going to like help the team with the Akali is going to just suffer so much in the top lane. So I think that was a really interesting draft tactic from PT. It's paying off in this game, even though it is so close. Lead was the side of Metabusters a moment ago, but PT now has a slight edge for this 4th dragon. MTB starts it. Trigger could get pulled at any moment. Dave's looking for a flank.
Dave's looking for a flank. I think that the engage wasn't early. A really nice dominate played, but it looks like that the fight might just be turning for the side. A huge Fate Shield in the back line from Snow, as it looks like that Yug just falls down so quickly in the fight. LC Dream's trying to look for something, anything at all. The Shuriken Flip does connect, trying to go for more kills, but no, he can't because there's so much damage coming through. And Dave, however, kiting forward. Can he keep kiting? Dave trying to kite even more, and yes, he can.
Oh my
Blind
word.
Spiral able to save his teammate. A double kill going over him and his top laner respectively, and an ace for the side of Project Tuesdays as they claim the dragon.
I think that was another fight. Both of us were looking at very different parts of the fight. You were looking at the Yone diving the backline. I was looking at the Vayne. I don't know if you saw it. Vayne just RQs on the other side of the wall and flashes over, invisible. It's a great like initiation onto this fight on the flank, avoiding any wards that could be there. There weren't any on the side of Metabuster, so it was unneeded, but a cautious play from Dave, using the flash to get the right situation. But Jacob got a beautiful bubble instantly on that initiation. I thought Dave was dead, but the way the fight went, it was very split. They didn't have the damage skill Dave, and that ended up letting him kind of take over that fight, I would say.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
3 items now for this Vayne.
3 items for Spain. Ooh, he is getting quite strong now. He's doing this crit-esque build. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, this is a really top lane, typical build for top lane Vayne.
So in a bit of trouble here, actually. Yeah, Fatal is in the area, and there's so much damage available. He can't do anything about it at all.
Oh.
Dave's just on a killing spree now. A huge pick, actually, and they might be able to turn this into a Baron start. That is how he gets to be seen.
I also love, I feel like this item has fallen out of favor recently, but I think this is a great game for it, the Vandal Pipes on the Nautilus. You have a Vayne, a Xin Zhao, and a Zai who can all make great use of the attack speed.
Yeah, I mean,
So, I think that's
Masher.
pretty monumental to the way these fights are going.
Yeah.
I expect maybe a Knight's Vow to be the next purchase for Nautilus.
And here comes the TP actually in, and they actually are going to they see the TP, so that's definitely going to give it away if anything. And Future just trying to like walk in, but no, he really can't because Fatal's just there. And I mean, here comes the fight, and wow, Dave's just so fast. He's just trying to run directly at Stop. So it looks like that he's just going to have to settle for Future instead. And yeah, down he goes, and LZ Dreams with the shuriken flip, but there it is.
Oh.
The dredge line does end up connecting onto Korn, but he flashes over the wall to safety. Meanwhile, down mid lane they will go. So they will continue their push.
This game is now looking very favored for
Yeah, Project Tuesdays.
Project
Just trying to
Tuesdays.
finish it all right here, and with his waves they might be able to do it. It could be a bit risky though. Stop actually does critically have a GA now, so not going to be as easy as it seems. And Snow with a huge fake shield in the back line. It's actually going to force the Fetish run out immediately as meanwhile the fight starts to break that Crescent Guard burn. And the Realm of Death is popped immediately as well. Korn trying to get a kill, the Exhaust on top, trying to take down Blind Spiral, but Blind Spiral does end up winning that fight. And it's all Project Tuesdays, because guess what? They're winning this fight. They're trying to get the finals. Fuger rooted up, taken down, Blind Spiral falls, but it's not all for naught because it is time to punch their ticket to the finals to face against Snarkify Rebellion, as it looks like that Metabusters, they've had a great run overall for this season, but that is the end of the line, and there you have it. Project Tuesdays.
I'm impressed and intimidated. I think Project Tuesdays really brought things together in this game, in this series. I think this Project Tuesdays is the Project Tuesdays I've been worried about. I've been seeing, I've been scared. We didn't play against them last week. We played against a version that did not execute to the extent that they did there. I think this grand finals is going to be really exciting with Project Tuesdays playing the way they were playing in the series. I'd love to drag somebody in for an interview. Before that, Soraya says, what does loser's final mean? The bracket, Alec, are you able to bring up on the stream the Scrim Zone bracket for a visual as well?
I don't know how I would do that.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
The Scrim Zone bracket is double elimination, meaning there were 6 teams that made it to playoffs. The top 4 seeded teams had kind of 2 lives, and when you lose in the upper bracket, you drop down to the lower bracket. This is the last game of the lower bracket. The winners of this series, which has now become PT, will face against Snarkify Rebellion, the winners of the upper bracket, to face in the grand finals. However, they do enter with a disadvantage. Snarkify Rebellion will start with 1 win already recorded for a best of 5. So sometime next week that finale will happen. I wonder who's going to be casting it. Probably Dean and Gruer, I would imagine.
Yeah. All right. Let us. If I could get, let's get if we get Spiral and call if you'd like to join, or just join like any of the lobbies or anything like that. I'm not sure if Spiral's watching at the moment. Just for like a really quick interview. I do have to get going, so if we
Hey,
could.
boys.
Oh, hey.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Good. How are you
So
guys?
doing good. Congratulations on the victory. You guys are gonna be punching your ticket back to the finals. You guys were in the upper bracket finals, but now you guys got knocked down to lower bracket finals. Got a convincing game one victory. Game two had to scrap it out a bit more, but you ended up getting the win. And now you guys are going to be going against Snarkfire Rebellion in the finals. What are your first thoughts just coming out of the series?
Yeah, it feels really good. We feel great. We're happy. It's what we expected, but we have a lot of respect for Metabusters. They were the only team to take a game off us in the season and then play them in the first round to get a revenge, and we knew this one was going to be a good series. So, um, we expected Tusini when we saw Tusini wasn't here. That kind of helped our mental. We think Tusini is their best player. And so when he wasn't there, it was good to see for us, I guess. But Snow is great in his own right, but we had to make sure we shut that down. And I'm just really happy with how our team played. I think our team played really, really well.
Your prediction going into this series, I of course made the poll before this series started. You were one of the only two people to predict the 2-0 for PT. Not even your own teammates were participating in the poll saying it was going to be 2-0. LSD said 2-1 was what he was expecting. You were very confident this was going to be a dominant win. What kind of gave you that confidence? What kind of strategizing or planning led to this victory?
Yeah, so I think we're the best team in the server, and so I think that we should 2-0 Metabusters, and I think what you saw last week was not accurate of our skill level. I think that SR would say the same thing for our week 8 game, that it was not accurate, and so I think this finals will show who is the best team, and I think it's us, and so I felt really good heading into the series. Just we feel good. Yeah, we feel great. So it felt like it was going to be a 2-0. I knew it wasn't going to be an easy 2-0, but I in my heart I knew it would be a 2-0 for us.
Well, your prediction was absolutely correct. So it sounds like you're confident about this upcoming finals match. You're saying you're the best team. You said you were confident in this 2-0. What do you think the finals are going to be? Do you think you're going to get the three? I guess 1 is the most dominant performance you could have?
Yeah, I'd like to sit here and say that. I don't. I think it would be very challenging for a team to take 3 games off of SR back to back to back. I think it depends on how the first games go. I think if we win the first 2, it's a 3-1. I don't think that we'll win the first 2 necessarily. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to a game 5. But we'll see. We're not worried about it. We're just gonna, take this week seriously and be ready to go and put on a show for whenever that game is.
I'm excited to play in it, man.
Yeah,
I guess I'll give my prediction. I think we're gonna win. I think naturally that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to say, right? Yeah.
I really think this 1 game lead is pretty monumental. I actually think if the series goes really long, I favor y'all. I think that was kind of the same opinion you had. But I think that 1 game lead is going to allow us to close it out before it gets to that point. I think it's going to be 3-1 SR.
3-1. So you don't even think we're going to take a game?
No, 3-1 for us. So you'll get a game.
So you already come into this series with a game advantage.
Yeah. So we come in with the 1 game. I'm saying I don't know exactly how the
games are
going to go.
My gosh,
maybe we win, you win, we win is what I'm predicting.
I got you. Yeah, we'll see about that.
I wish it weren't so. I wish it weren't so. I wish it was just like, just give me the 5-game banger.
Yeah, the viewers are open for the
give me the
5-game
right? Banger. Come on.
Before our ego got checked really fucking hard last week, we were actually talking about winning the game and then just saying like we don't want the game advantage. I don't know if that's allowed or anything like that, but just because a 5-game series is so much more fun. But then we got our egos checked real quick last week, so that isn't an option anymore.
I don't think we have the confidence to say that we don't need the advantage. I think
Yeah, we
your
don't anymore after last week. So
your
don't
reign
worry.
over the regular season was
Yeah,
proven to be deserved. I think that
yeah,
that extra game I think will be the difference maker actually.
yeah. We'll see how the series goes. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You have any closing questions, Alec?
I have no closing questions. All I have to do is just wish you both the best of luck in the wars to come. Uh, so, with that being said, as long as you guys have nothing else to say, do you guys have anything else left to say? Anything at all, or are we good?
You guys are a bunch of fucking haters. I'll tell you that. So many people voting for MetaBusters to 2-1 or 2-0 is ridiculous.
Yeah, you proved him wrong. Hey, I was saying on the stream that's exactly where y'all want to be. I
Did
was
we
talking
though?
to
Because
I
because
was
the
talking to
noise is
LSD.
the
He
noise
was
is
saying
so loud, man. Everybody, it feels, and maybe you guys feel this way too. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a butthole, but it feels like everybody's upset. I feel like everybody's rooting against PT and SR. Now it's us in the finals, and that just feels like.
You can ask Sandy.
I
I'm sure
think
it
You
feels
can
like
ask
you guys
Sandy.
too.
people like an underdog story. People like an
Sandy
underdog
can tell you
story.
my opinion of you guys. Like
Yeah, I
me.
mean Alec loves y'all. I was talking to LSD before
Other
this
than
series.
Brewer,
He was saying LSD was saying people are doubting y'all, and that's where y'all want to be. That's where y'all thrive. That's where people were at the start of the season doubting y'all, and you showed up majorly. People are doubting you in this series. Y'all showed up majorly. So I'm hoping that people don't doubt you coming to this final series, because
we'll
I'm
see.
hoping y'all don't get unleashed by the players' doubt.
We'll see. I think in stereotypical State of Scrims format, Dean will pick not PT and Gru will pick PT. So we'll see. Either way, I know that the week leading into this is going to be a lot of fun. I know that we have a lot of respect for SR. I know it's going to be a great series. We're happy to be here. We're thankful, and we'll see how it goes in about a week or so.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. And so with that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. It's been a really fun stream, really fun. Thank you, Sandy, for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for making it happen, and thank you, Blind Spiral, for making sure that LSD and Fatal made it to the game. So,
Yeah, my bad.
no, you're good. I'm just playing around. Um, so, with that being said, everyone, make sure to take care. Make sure to have a good rest of your week, and make sure to be above all and most of all importantly, be a bit better than you were yesterday. That's kind of like what everyone has to strive for as they live their days. You got to be a bit better than you were yesterday. So go out there and just be just a bit better. Just do something just a tiny bit better, and that's all you have to worry about. So we're gonna close it up with that. Be better. Take care. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.